I was sick and tired of everything when I called you last night from Glasgow. All I do is eat and sleep and sing, wishing every show was the last show. So imagine I was glad to hear you're coming. Suddenly I feel alright. And it's gonna be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. Facing 20,000 of your fans, how can anyone be so lonely? Part of our success that never ends. Still I'm thinking about you only. There are moments when I think I'm going crazy, but it's gonna be alright. You'll soon be changing everything. Everything will be so different when I'm on the stage tonight. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna blind me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. So I'll be there when you arrive. The sight of you would prove to me I'm still alive, and then you'll take me in your arms and hold me tight. I know it's gonna mean so much tonight. Tonight the super trooper lights are gonna find me shining like the sun, smiling, having fun, feeling like a number one. Tonight the super trooper beams are gonna find me, but I won't feel blue like I always do, 'cause somewhere in the crowd there's you. Thank you, everybody. And I do want to point out, I want to thank everyone here at Fantasy Island for hosting me here tonight. It is my first time here, hopefully not my last. If you look to the right of the stage, you will see a tip jar. On that tip jar, there is my Discord group joiner, my Second Life group joiner, and if you don't have any groups to follow left, you can click on that little speech bubble that says subscribe, and you will get subscribed to my Subscribe-O-Matic. That way, you will not have to spend any time trying to spend any groups. So, we've got ABBA. As you know, ABBA, most people say that they did disco, but it's not true. Throughout their career, they did a whole bunch of genres, experimenting here and there. I mean, they have Tropical Loveland, which is reggae. And you've got Tammy, which is, I Can Be That Woman, which is a country song. One interesting thing that you might point out is that ABBA touched and dipped their fingers into a lot of genres that became incredibly popular, such as, for example, the industrial goth pop. You know, the interesting thing about ABBA really is just how amazing their arrangements were, their orchestration. Benny and Bjorn did amazing works. And one of my favorite pieces that kind of exemplifies this is, of course, the song Lay All Your Love on Me. Now, the cool thing about this song is that in many ways, it's Bjorn and Benny at their most absolutely excessive. You've got Bjorn and Benny going crazy on the synthesizers, while Agneta kind of gives this very, very frosty disco queen performance. And so I want to sing that song for you because I think it's really, really cool. And this is a slightly different take on Lay On Your Love on Me. This version of Lay All Your Love on Me, well, so some of you know I'm an opera singer, so that means I go, Sente. I live in the stratosphere. But I also have a pretty good low register. And one of my friends dared me, because I like the Sisters of Mercy. They are one of my favorite, thank you, Rathmexa, one of my favorite bands, goth bands. And they, even though they themselves don't acknowledge that they're goth, but come on, let's face it, they're goth. And a friend of mine said, I dare you to do Lay All Your Love on Me as if it were sung by the Sisters of Mercy. And so I found a kind of soupy low register, I wasn't jealous before we met. And I thought that worked. So I want to sing you that version because it's a lot of fun. And here we go.
I wasn't jealous before we met. Now everyone that I see is a potential threat. And I'm possessive, it isn't nice. You heard me saying that smoking was my only vice. But now it isn't true. Now everything is you. And all I've learned has overturned. What can I do? Don't go wasting your emotion. Lay all your love on me. It was like shooting a sitting duck. A little small talk, a smiling baby, that was that. I used to think I was sensible. It makes the truth even more incomprehensible. 'Cause everything is you, and everything is new. Unsatisfied, I skip my pride. I beg you, dear, don't go wasting your emotion. Lay all your love on me. Don't go sharing your emotion. Lay all your love on me. I've heard a few little love affairs. They didn't last very long and they've been pretty scarce. I still don't know what you've done with me. A grown-up Cheshire should never fall so easily. 'cause everything is new, and everything is you, and all I've learned has overturned. What can I do? Don't go wasting your emotion. They are your lover. Don't go sharing your devotion. Lay your love on me. Don't go wasting your emotion. Lay your love on me.
But you know, Lay All Your Love on Me is not exactly my absolute favorite ABBA song. In many ways, I guess I don't really have a favorite ABBA song because all of them are really quite, well, most of them, even the silly ones like the King Kong song, they have their own charm to them. But if I were to pick what is one of the tightest songs that ABBA ever wrote, I would have to say it is S.O.S, which is your typical forlorn love song. Although one thing that is interesting to point out is that ABBA had a very mature way of depicting breakups and mature relationship problems. They're not your typical pop band talking about how pretty your baby is. If you listen to Knowing Me, Knowing You, it's pretty much a shattering portrayal of divorce. And Elaine is about an abusive relationship. And One Man, One Woman is kind of a wife with Stockholm syndrome. But you know, they are from Sweden, and pop music from Sweden does tend to have I guess I would say a closer bend of melancholy than anything else. But insofar as the most lighthearted of their relationship trouble songs, I would say S.O.S is right up there. And I'm going to be doing the cover that Cher did because I think the orchestration she chose for this particular piece is very interesting, and it also lets me show off my low range. So, without further ado, S.O.S.
Where are those happy days? They seem so hard to find. I try to reach for you, but you have closed your mind. Whatever happened to our love? I think I understood. What happened to our love? It used to be so good. So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear the S.O.S? The love you gave me, nothing else can save the S.O.S. When you're gone, how can I even try to go on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on? You seem so far away, though you are standing near. You make me feel alive, though something died, I fear. I really try to make it up. I wish I understood. What happened to our love? It used to be so good. So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear the S.O.S? The love you gave me, nothing else can save the S.O.S. when you're gone. How can I even try to go on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on? So when you're near me, darling, can't you hear the S.O.S? The love you gave me, nothing else can save me, S.O.S. When you're gone, how can I even try to go home? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on? When you're gone, though I try, how can I carry on? When you're gone, oh I try, how can I carry on?
Thank you, Krim. And so, I do apologize. I ask for your indulgence today because I'm actually singing with sinusitis. So you can imagine I am, at times, I'm close to dying, but nevertheless, the show must go on, right? So, we've got that song. Another one of ABBA's most famous songs is probably a song that most of us would call a mood today, in this day and age, with financial problems and the cost of living skyrocketing. It is, of course, one of my favorite songs, and if you know, how many here have seen the Mamma Mia movie? I want to know. How many of you in the audience, let me know, you went and saw Mamma Mia? I won't judge you if you didn't, just curious. But I didn't think I could love this song anymore until I saw Meryl Streep sitting astride a jet ski on board of a yacht while also running with Silk running behind her while blasting this song. And you know, money, money, money would be a funny thing in a rich man's world.
I work all night, I work all day to pay the bills I have to pay. Ain't it sad? And still there never seems to be a single penny left for me. Just so bad. In my dreams I have a plan. If I got me a wealthy man, I wouldn't have to work at all. I'd fool around and have a ball. Be funny in a rich man's world. Money, 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 always sunny in a rich man's world. Oh, all the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's world. It's a rich man's world. A man like that is hard to find, but I can't get him off my mind. Ain't it sad? And if he happened to be free, I bet he wouldn't fancy me. That's too bad. So I must leave. I'll have to go to Las Vegas or Monaco and win a fortune in a game. My life will never be the same. Money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. Money, money, money
Thank you, William. And so, talking about how ABBA is not or was not your typical pop group. Thank you, Kari. Around the time that ABBA was starting, one of the biggest complaints that you had about rock groups was how overly sexualized they were. ABBA was, of course, a little bit different. They did have sexy songs like Voulez-Vous, although most of the time their lyrics were to be more on the poetic side, leaving things unsaid. But there is one song about someone trying. Well, you also have "Give Me, Give Me, Give Me a Man After Midnight," but you also have one interesting song which is about someone trying to get it on, and the intended person realizing that this person is way too young to be looking for that kind of fun, basically tells them, "Oh no, cool your jets. You're just a kid." Which, of course, if you saw the Mamma Mia movie, Christine Baranski did an absolutely amazing job of this song, which explains the set that I chose to do this. Does your mother know that you're out? You're so hot, teasing me. So you're blue, but I can't take a chance on a kid like you. That's something I couldn't do. There's that look in your eyes. I can read in your face that your feelings are driving you wild. But boy, you're only a child. Well, I can dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I can chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Take it easy, better slow down, boy, that's no way to go. Does your mother know? Take it easy, try to cool it, boy, take it nice and slow. Does your mother know? I can see what you want, but you seem pretty young to be searching for that kind of fun. So maybe I'm not the one. Now you're so cute, I like your style, and I know what you mean when you give me a flash of that smile. But boy, you're only a child. Well, I can dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I can chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Take it easy, better slow down, boy, that's no way to go. Does your mother know? Take it easy, try to cool it, boy, take it nice and slow. Does your mother know? Well, I can dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I can chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Well, I can dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? And I can flirt with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? Does your mother know that you're out? Does your mother know that you're out? Now, we're going to take a bit of a step back from ABBA as ABBA itself. And we're going to take a bit of a jaunt in a more Wonderlandish direction, perhaps, if you want to consider, well, not quite Wonderland. We could say it is Looking Glass Land, which, as a Cheshire cat, I can tell you, is perfectly adjacent to Looking Glass, to Wonderland. Benny and Bjorn, after ABBA broke up, well, they never quite officially broke up, you see. They went on an extended hiatus, beginning 1982, and everybody pretty much had assumed that it meant that they had dissolved for good. That was the end of ABBA. And as the 90s and the 2000s rolled around, it seemed to be pretty accurate. There was no ABBA. Countless times they were offered exorbitant amounts of money to reunite, but they kept turning it down. Mostly because most of them already had earned the GDP of Sweden to begin with, and Agneta could afford to buy her own island. But also because they wanted to be truthful to themselves and not reunite unless all four of them really wanted to. So in this interim that lasted 40 years, but we'll talk about that later, there was a musical, several musicals. Svenska Flick, there was, but the most notable one was their collaboration with Tim Rice called Chess, which explored the political tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union through the lens of a chess championship. Now, the song that I'm going to sing to start with for the chess set has a disclaimer. This is called One Night in Bangkok. And if you listen to the lyrics have what would be considered Orientalism. And that is either fetishization or the stereotypical dismissal of Asian peoples. And I have to say, this is the point of the song. The character who sings this song is derisively addressed in the musical most of the time as the American. He is someone who has a very provincial view of the world, very dismissive view of non-American cultures. And he gets a comeuppance at the end of the musical. And throughout most of the musical, nobody can stand him because he really is an absolutely unbearable person. But he does have this song, which is one of the most famous songs in the musical, and it's incredibly catchy. So here comes the American song talking about the city of Bangkok, painting it not in very accurate tones, but in this case, the song says more about him, about the character, and how small-minded he is than it does about the city. Bangkok, Oriental city, but the city don't know what the city is getting. The creme de la creme of the chess world in a show with everything but your winner. Time flies, doesn't seem a minute since the Tyrolean Spa had a chess boys in it. All changed, don't you know when you play at this level there's no ordinary venue. It's Iceland, or the Philippines, or Hastings, or, well, or this place. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples but their pearls ain't free. You'll find a god in every golden cloister, and if you're lucky then the gods are she. I can feel an angel sliding up to me. One town is very like another when your head's down over your pieces, brother.
It's a drag, it's a bore. It's really such a pity to be looking at the boy, not looking at the city.
What do you mean? You've seen one crowded, polluted, stinking town. Get tired, you're talking to a tourist whose every move's among the purest. I get my kicks above the waistline, sunshine. One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble. Not much
between despair and ecstasy. One night in Bangkok and the tough guys tumble. Can't be too careful with your company. I can feel the devil walking next to me. Siam is gonna be the witness to the ultimate test of cerebral fitness. This grips me more than a muddy old river or reclining Buddha. Thank God I'm only watching the game, controlling it. I don't see you guys raging the kind of mating I'm contemplating. I'd let you watch, I would invite you, but the queens we use would not excite you. So you better go back to your bars, your temples, your massage parlors. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but their pearls ain't free. You'll find a god in every golden oyster. A little splash, a little history. I can feel an angel sliding up to me. One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble. Not much between despair and ecstasy. One night in Bangkok and the tough guys tumble. Can't be too careful with your company. I can feel the devil walking next to me.
Now, excuse me. One of the determining things about how Benny and Bjorn wrote chess is if you listen to the female parts, you could almost swear that they were hoping Frida and Agneta would come back to sing the musical. Such is the case with the duet I Know Him So Well, which, if you listen, you could just hear Frida and Agneta singing it. Of course, that never happened. But, you know, in an ideal world, perhaps that did. This is one of the most beautiful heartbreak songs ever for a duet between two women who love the same man. I can't sing it with a woman. Elaine Page, for some reason, keeps denying my calls. So I couldn't bring her today to sing with me. So I pre-recorded myself singing Elaine's part. And so I'm singing the other woman's part while singing with myself, which is probably the most wonderland thing I could be doing right now. Here is I Know Him So Well from the musical Chess.
Nothing is so good it lasts eternally. Perfect situations must go wrong, but this has never yet prevented me wanting far too much for far too long. Looking back, I could have played it differently. 1 or 4 more moments, who can tell? But it took time to understand the man. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't it fun? Oh, so fun. Isn't it madness? He won't be mine. and he needs a little bit more than me. More security, his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. No one in your life is with you constantly. No one is completely on your side. And though I move my world to be with him, still the gap between us is too wide. Looking back, I could not hide it differently about the man before I fell. But I was so much younger. But I was ever so much younger then. Now at least I know him well. Wasn't it good? Oh, so good. Wasn't it fun? Oh, so fun. Isn't it madness? He won't be mine. Didn't I know how it would go if I knew from the start? Why am I falling apart? Wasn't it fun? Oh, so good. Wasn't it fun? Oh, so fun. He won't be mine. But in the end, he needs a little bit more than me. My security, his fantasy and freedom. I know him so well. It took time to understand him. I know him so well.
Well, that duet can certainly clear your sinuses, doesn't it? There we go. Oh, let me drink a little water to replenish myself, and a little bit of tea, and I will tell you a bit of a story. So, thank you, Diamond Sparkles and Ratmexa. Cool names. So, you might be wondering, Cheshire Cat, what does ABBA have to do with Wonderland? You'd be surprised. In fact, as you might not know, Agneta Feltskog, who was the blonde agony queen in ABBA, looks like Songbird sent me. A gift. Haha, thank you. She actually started a good chunk of her early career. She was a vocalist and she sang from a very young age, but she also had a string of live performances in a Swedish Alice in Wonderland musical, and she played Alice. And if you look at her, you can see why. Even though I must tell you this, the Alice that you see in Disney and in animated and in all other versions does not look like Alice. I hate to tell you this. Blonde Alice is actually somewhat inaccurate because Alice was based off of Alice Liddell, a child friend of Charles Dodson, also known as Lewis Carroll. And in the original depictions, Alice had brown hair, and her pinafore was yellow with white. Now, the reason why Disney changed the color of Alice's pinafore was actually kind of forgivable. And sort of the same reason why they changed Dorothy's slippers from silver, as it was in the book in The Wizard of Oz, to red. You see, in early Technicolor technology, for example, you would see Dorothy's silver shoes. If she had worn silver shoes against a yellow brick road, it would have been kind of a fleshy mess. There would be no definition, no clear definition between her shoes, the silver shoes, and the yellow road. And so Disney, rightfully so, thought that Alice wearing a yellow pinafore that would make up most of her body with her fair skin would kind of make this sort of marshmallowy shape with the white, with the white apron. So he changed it to blue, and then in order to highlight the head, then he made her blonde. And that is where the majority of popular depictions of Alice come from. Basically, the Technicolor needs and a little bit of color theory too. But yeah, so there's the Wonderland link between ABBA and 10 years old it may be, and Wonderland, with Agneta having spent a good chunk of her early childhood playing Alice. Now we're going to move a little bit closer to the more meditative ABBA. See, ABBA is known, the biggest songs that you know from ABBA are probably the most danceable. But ABBA wrote some beautiful introspective pieces, such as the one I am about to sing now, and this is what I love about ABBA. Even though these people were in their 20s and early 30s by the time that they separated, they always had this knack for writing elder voices. And not just elder voices, but a good amount of ABBA's output is feminine voices. In a milieu where the majority of bands featured male leads and had very male-oriented lyrics and subject matters, ABBA was unique in that most of their songs were about the life and romantic aspirations of women. And even though their songs were written by two men, Benny Andersson and Bjorn Ulvaeus, they managed to write it with such sensitivity that you would think that these were women writing about the experiences of women. And here we have Like an Angel Passing Through My Room, which is an introspective song about an older woman looking back at her life and looking at all the things that have passed by and all the loves that have died away like the embers on the fire.
Half-awaited darkness falls in the shadows on the walls. In the twilight hour I am alone, sitting near the fireplace. Dying embers warm my face in this peaceful solitude. All the outside world subdued. Everything comes back to me tonight. In the gloom, like an angel passing through my room, half awake and half in dreams, seeing long forgotten forgotten seas. So the present runs into the past. Now and then become entwined, playing games within my mind, like the echoes as they die. Love was one prolonged goodbye, and it all comes back to me again in the gloom, like an angel passing through my room. I close my eyes, and my twilight images subside. All too soon, like an angel passing through my room.
I just like to hear that clock. I thought it was rather brilliant. If you listen to that song, the orchestration is just a clock and just a very, very gentle, synth bells. So that song, Like an Angel Passing Through My Room, came out in the album The Visitors, which wasn't a commercial success for ABBA, interestingly enough. It was ahead of its time, perhaps, because it featured beautiful frosty synths, and I love myself a good frosty synthesizer. And it came out in 1981. So it wasn't, the new wave aesthetic hadn't quite taken in. And so just like when they won with Waterloo in the 1974 Eurovision Festival, which makes it 50 years ago, by the way, some of you might want to start feeling a little bit old. But The Visitors was not a critical success or a commercial success when it first came out. But now, when people look at The Visitors, it is considered to be one of ABBA's masterpieces. And the way they always were implementing new technology, the synthesizers, multi-tracking, it was just, they were always ahead of their time. And so we're talking about how ABBA sort of always identified with the romantic longings of women. This is one of their songs from that album, just like an Angel Passed Through My Room. It's called The Day Before You Came. And it is a very interesting piece because it is sung by Agneta, who is, the high-flying, the winner takes it all, we'll get there, don't worry, singer. But in this one, she's almost monotone. She's talking about her life, the life she has before she meets this one person. And it's incredibly... A friend of mine who's a fellow opera singer described it as an arioso, which if you know some opera, then it'll make sense. But it really is this sort of meditation on her life. And so the music is not extremely dramatic, but it has this eerie, oppressive feeling of a life spent in mundanity up until a certain event. I must have left my house at 8 because I always do. My train, I'm certain, left the station just when it was due. I must have read the morning paper going into town, and having gotten through the editorial, no doubt I must have frowned. I must have made my desk around the 9:15, with letters to be read and heaps of papers waiting to be signed. I must have gone to lunch at 12:30 or so, the usual place, the usual bunch. And still on top of this, I'm pretty sure it must have rained the day before you came. I must have lit my 7 cigarette at 2:30. And at the time I never even noticed I was blue. I must have kept on dragging through the business of the day, and without really knowing anything, I hid a part of me away. At 5 I must have left. There's no exception to the rule. A matter of routine, I've done it ever since I finished school. The train back home again, undoubtedly I must have read the evening paper then. Oh yes, I'm sure my life was well within its usual frame the day before you came. Must have opened my front door at 8 o'clock or so, and stopped along the way to buy some Chinese food to go. I'm sure I had my dinner watching something on TV. There's not, I think, a single episode of Dallas that I didn't see. I must have gone to bed around the 10:15. I need a lot of sleep, and so I like to be in bed by then. I must have read a while the latest one by Marilyn French or something in that style. It's funny, but I had no sense of living without aim the day before you came. And turning on the lights, I must have yawned and cuddled up for yet another night. And rattling on the roof, I must have heard the sound of rain the day before you came. Thank you, Songbird. And so, that was the day before you came. Another thing that people don't associate ABBA with is perhaps, oh, give me 1 second. There we go. Is potentially touching political subjects. You know, everybody thinks ABBA, oh, you know, they're inoffensive, happy-go-lucky. Well, not really. Actually, one thing that a lot of people don't really think about is how many of ABBA's songs have a bit of melancholy to them. I'll give you an example. And this is something that actually has been recently in the news about ABBA, when talking about their top 10 songs, perhaps. For example, Dancing Queen, which I will not be singing today. I know that probably breaks a couple of people's hearts, but I had to choose, and I only had so much time. But for example, Dancing Queen, when you first listen to it, not paying it much attention to it, you think, you know, it's about a sweet 16-year-old having a great time at the at the dance floor. But no, not if you look at the text. It is not I am the dancing queen, it's you are the dancing queen. You see, the entire song is being sung not from the perspective of the cute 16-year-old shaking her booty on the dance floor, but from, as one music reviewer said, a benevolent observer, a much older woman who, while looking at this young girl dancing on the dance floor in the flower of her youth, is benevolently, feeling good for her, but she's also recalling the time when she used to be the dancing queen, which is why there is, even though it's a great dance piece, there is always something melancholy about that beginning of and that's not the only song of ABBA's that you'd think, oh, great banger, but has an element of sadness to it. But on the political sphere, you might think ABBA didn't do much, but that's not true. If you ever listen to the song "The Piper," which, interestingly enough, it's kind of a proto. If you are familiar with the band Blackmore's Night, which took pop, synth pop, and Renaissance music and kind of blended them together, ABBA actually inspired the creation of Blackmore's Night. And the song that inspired them is "The Piper," one of the songs that inspired them, because they had many influences, including Ian Anderson, the rock and roll bard, head of Jethro Tull, but also ABBA with the song "The Piper." And you would think it's about the Pied Piper, but it's also a song about how authoritarians can get an entire population under their sway with sweet words and music. They also wrote "Soldiers," which is a song that cautions against the mindset of I am just following orders. And then we have the title song from The Visitors, which is the opening track of The Visitors, and it's an absolute masterpiece. And it is written from the perspective of a woman living in the Soviet Union and knowing that, well, all of her friends have vanished. They have been caught speaking dangerous thoughts and ideas, and they have vanished. And she knows she is next. And she hears a knocking at the door, and she knows it's none of her friends. And she's standing among the things that she loves so dearly, all of her paintings, all of her books and the furniture, and she knows that she will never see them again very soon.
I hear the doorbell ring and suddenly the panic takes me. The sound so ominously tearing through the silence. I cannot move, I'm standing, numb and frozen, among the things I love so dearly. The books, the paintings, and the furniture. Help me. The signal's sounding once again as someone tries the doorknob. None of my friends would be so stupidly impatient, and they don't dare to come here anymore, no. But how I loved our secret meetings. We talked and talked in quiet voices, smiling. Now I hear them moving, muffled voices coming through the door. I feel I'm cracking up. Voices growing louder, irritation building, and I'm close to fainting, cracking up. They must know by now I'm in here, trembling in a terror ever growing, cracking up. My whole world is falling, going crazy. There is no escaping now. I'm cracking up. These walls have witnessed all the anguish of humiliation, and seen the hope of freedom glow in shining faces. And now they've come to take me, come to break me, and yet it isn't unexpected. I have been waiting for these visitors. Help me. Now I hear them moving, muffled noises coming through the floor. I feel I'm cracking up. Voices growing louder, irritation building, and I'm close to fainting, cracking up. They must know by now I've been here, trembling in a terror ever growing, cracking up. My whole world is falling, going crazy. There is no escaping, cracking up.
Now I'm going to take a brief break to drink again, because once again, sinusitis is not fun to sing with sinusitis. Let me just drink a bit of water. And I'm going to sing a song next that So, before I drink my water, I want to let you know that I am a contestant in Second Life's biggest vocal reality TV competition, the Viral Voice Season 5. I'm also the first furry to ever compete, which is kind of cool. And there is one episode that's coming up, I think episode 5 or 6, called The Heartbreakers, where you get to sing your saddest love song. And vote for me. Do look up how to attend. You can join my group, and we'll let you know how you can come in and support me, because I want to get to round 5 or 6 so I can sing this piece that I'm going to sing for you next, after I take a brief drink of water. And singing with sinusitis is not really that big of a deal. I once sang the Elixir of Love while having laryngitis and nobody could tell, so that's good, I guess. So the next piece has to be what I think one of the best breakup songs, broken-hearted songs ever written. I'm talking, of course, about The Winner Takes It All, which is not in The Visitors. I believe it's part of the Super Trouper album, but don't quote me on that. I came to know ABBA not through their albums, but their compilation, ABBA Gold. It is later that I found out their individual albums. Each one, of course, is very distinctive, very different. There's a very vast difference between Super Trouper and ABBA, the album, or Arrival. But this song, I think this I think should be the archetypal song that gets blasted out on the radio while you're driving down a rainy highway, because the person you love just told you that they're not into you anymore. And so without further ado, I just want to sing that for you. And hopefully I'll get to sing this for episode 6 of The Viral Voice. So without further ado, The Winner Takes It All. And thank you, X-Firestar.
I don't want to talk about things we've gone through, though it's hurting me. No, it's history. I played all my cards, and that's what you've done too. Nothing more to say. No more race to play. The winner takes it all. The loser standing small beside the victory. That's her destiny. I was in your arms, thinking I belonged there. I figured it made sense, building me a fence, building me a home, thinking I'd be strong there, but I was a fool, laying by the rules. The gods may throw at ice, their minds as cold as ice, and someone way down here loses someone dear. The winner takes it all, the loser has to fall. It's simple and it's plain, why should I complain? But tell me, does she kiss like I used to kiss you? Does it feel the same when she calls your name? Somewhere deep inside, you must know I miss you. But what can I say? Rules must be obeyed. The judges will decide, the likes of me abide. Spectators on the shore always staying low. The game is on again, a lover or a friend, a big thing or a small, the winner takes it all. I don't want to talk if it makes you feel sad, and I understand you've come to shake my hand. I apologize if it makes you feel bad, seeing me so tense, no self-confidence. But you see, the winner takes it all. The winner takes it all. The judges will decide, their minds as cold as ice, and someone way down here loses someone dear. It's on again, a lover or a friend, a big thing or a small, the winner takes it all. The winner takes it all.
Now I need to drink more water after that. That's not an easy song, even when you are healthy. Oh, I have mango tea. That's always good. The last of my mango tea, even. Head count in the audience. How many of you were familiar with the music of ABBA before this concert? Or actually, no, let's do the opposite. How many of you were not familiar with the music of ABBA before this concert? And I want you to shout it, because the way I am back here, I can't hear you unless you're shouting. Because I'm way further back, way back here. So just go ahead and shout it. I want to see just how many neophytes we have in regards to the ABBA songs. I want to sing now the last song from their Visitors album. This was the song that kind of gave the last bit of ABBA to the world for 40 years. Under Attack, in which, once again, it is full of frosty, cool synthesizers that most critics and most listeners at the time weren't quite prepared to hear. But it talks about a woman being currently, you might say, stalked or pursued. She certainly feels that she's under attack. and that the defenses and the walls that she has built up are starting to break down, and this person is coming through, and she doesn't know what will come of it. The ending of this video of the music video accompanying this song, had all four ABBA members walking towards a warehouse exit from the inside of the warehouse. The door slowly begins to open, bringing this blinding light into which all four ABBA members kind of disappear into the light. Sort of their way of saying goodbye. Although not really, but we'll talk about that in just a second. Don't know how to take it, don't know where to go. My resistance running low, and every day the hold is getting tighter, and it troubles me so. I'm nobody's fool, and yet it's clear to me I don't have a strategy. It's just like taking candy from a baby, and I think I must be under attack. I'm being taken, about to crack, defenses breaking. Won't somebody please have a heart, come and rescue me now, 'cause I'm falling apart. Under attack, I'm taking cover. He saw my track, my chasing lover. Breaking up is not so easy now. Should I want to, I'm not sure how would I. Now this is getting crazy, I should tell him so. Really let my anger show. Persuade him that the answer to his questions is a definite no. Yes, I'm kind of flattered, but I'm scared as well. Something like a magic spell. I hardly dare to think of what could happen, where I'd be if I fell under attack. I'm being taken, about to crack, defenses breaking. Won't somebody see and save our heart? Come and rescue me now, 'cause I'm falling apart. Under attack, I'm taking cover. He saw my track, my chasing lover. Thinking nothing's gonna stop him now. Should I want to, I'm not sure how. No how. Under attack, I'm being taken, about to crack, defenses breaking. Won't somebody please save our heart? Shall I rescue me now, 'cause I'm falling apart. Under attack, I'm taking cover. He saw my track, my chasing lover. Thinking nothing's gonna stop him now. Should I want to, I'm not sure how. Under attack, I'm being taken, about to crack, defenses breaking. Won't somebody please save our heart? Come and rescue me now, 'cause I'm falling apart. And so, we are coming now to the end of tonight. I did tell you that we were going to talk about ABBA's return. Ooh. You see, ABBA did come back after 40 years. Perhaps when the world needed them the most, they decided to return to us with not just a new album, but also a virtual concert that puts all other virtual concerts to shame. Voyage. Once again, ABBA, even though we're talking about a quartet of people in their 70s and 80s, are still way ahead of their time. And to close tonight, I want to thank you, Songbird, for having me here. You guys have been an incredible audience. And I hope that you will support me in the viral voice. So I want to sing for you as the closer for tonight, my favorite song from their new album. I couldn't believe it. It was 2022 and there was a new ABBA album that was released in real time across the world. It was an amazing experience. And their song, Don't Shut Me Down, is an interesting song because it's a song about transformation. It's about not being the person you used to be, but being a better person and asking for a second chance. In many ways, it's sort of ABBA, sort of talking about themselves as they're presenting themselves in a new format. But I think it's a song for everyone who's ever had a change in their lives and they have become someone better than they used to be. And so, to say goodbye to you today, I will say,
a while ago I heard the sound of children's laughter, but it's quiet, so I guess they left the park. This wooden bench is getting harder by the hour. The sun is going down, it's getting dark. I realize I'm cold, the rain begins to pour as I watch the windows on the second floor. The lights are on, it's time to go. It's time at last to let him know. I believe it would be fair to say you look bewildered, and you wonder why I'm here today. And so you should, I would. When I left I felt I had enough, but in the shape and form I appear now. I've learned to cope, and love and hope is why I am here now. And now you see another me, I've been reloaded, yeah. I'm fired up, don't shut me down. I'm like a dream within a dream that's been decoded. I'm fired up, I'm hot, don't shut me down. I'm not the one you knew, I'm now and then combined, and I'm asking you to have an open mind. I'm not the same this time around. I'm fired up, don't shut me down. Will you leave me standing in the hall, or let me enter? The apartment hasn't changed at all. I've got to say I'm glad. Once these rooms were witness to our love, my tantrums and increasing frustration. But I go from mad to not so bad in my transformation. Oh, and now you see another me, I've been reloaded, yeah. I'm fired up, don't shut me down. Don't shut me down. confide, and I'm asking you to have an open mind. I'm not the same this time around. I'm fired up, don't shut me down. You asked me not to leave. Well, here I am again, and I love you still, and so I won't pretend. I have learned to cope, and love and hope is why I am here now.